Hey everybody, I'm Odin, and today we are checking out a game called Ludus Mortis. Now, this is an old school style dungeon crawler that has some pretty unique things going on, and one of those is just the setting. So, real quick, the game takes place in Imperial Rome, and long story short, there was some kind of political disagreement, and some people got some necromancers to summon a bunch of demons and undead and monsters, and now they're basically taken over, and they have certainly infested the catacombs beneath the city of Rome. So you, as the manager of a ludus, which is a gladiator school, you have been tasked with hiring gladiators and then sending them down into the catacombs to clear out all of these monsters. Now, in the process, you're going to build up your ludus and unlock different things that you can do. When you start the game, you only have access to the Rhetor, which is basically a tutorial, and the Faber Ferrarius, which is where you can craft weapons and also break weapons down into their component materials. And you can also, once you unlock the Architectus, you can then upgrade weapons as well. And you can see this forge here has been upgraded one time. That's something you do at the Architectus. So I've put about 4 hours into the game so far. I would just start over from the beginning to show you the game, but I think it would be better to just use my current party and my current progress because I've unlocked some other things that I can show you. I've unlocked the Druid, for instance, the Architectus, and the Templum, and I'll get to those in just a minute. So first, what you're looking at here is once you start your game, this is the Ludus screen. Up here, we've got our sesterces, or how much gold we have. This is ambrosia, and you'll use ambrosia to resurrect dead gladiators at the end of a run without them incurring any penalties to their XP gain. There's also another use of that if you go to the Templum, the temple. You can use ambrosia to get buffs that will be effective in your next run. Like right now, I've selected this one right here. I gave 100 ambrosia so that I could get a plus 10% bonus to my gold that I acquire in my next expedition. Up here, this is the max number of gladiators you can have in your ludus at any given time. You can upgrade this. Right now, my max is 10. And then over here, these are the items in my inventory. You can get to the point where your inventory is full, but you can also upgrade it. And once you unlock the gymnasium over here, then you can train your gladiators who are not currently on an expedition, which is pretty sweet. So the first thing you'll do is you'll go to hire gladiator, and you can either do a dice roll to figure out their attribute scores, or you can get a certain amount of points and set them yourself, and this is how you'll start making your gladiator. So we can just make one right now to show you how it is. So normally I go to points distribution. And of course, it depends on what kind of gladiator you want to make at any given time. If you mouse over the attributes, it tells you in the bottom left what that covers. So that's melee damage, spell power, HP per level, and your fitness saving throw. This is your spell points per level and your willpower saving throw. This is action points, initiative, and defense. And perception is ranged damage, reflex saving throw, and defense chance to dodge as opposed to the yeah, it is the same as agility. I thought one was parry, one was dodge. Those are both dodge. So let's just say I wanted to make just your standard kind of fighter. I would put a bunch of points into strength. I could max it out at 16. I would obviously want some constitution and probably some agility and perception just to get some good dodging going on. And then you'll hit proceed. Now here's where you choose your class. As you can see, there are 14 classes. That is a lot. And it tells you right here, basically gives you a real short summary of what that character is going to do. So a Murmillo is a heavy warrior that's hard to take down. You can see you've got a rogue, a backline fighter, a typical battlefield warrior, which is kind of an all-around fighter, a hand-to-hand expert, a light warrior, a dual-wielding expert, and then your ranged fighter, your Sagittarius. And then when they kind of change background color here, this is where you get into your mages. This is a healer. This is a support magician. This is a part thief, part magician. This is a mage who uses Mars, in other words, war spells, kind of. This is an elemental mage, and this is an all-around mage right here. So we'll just say, let's make a Murmillo here. So each class will have unique skills, like this one has these passives, extra health, and then you have a focused parry. And some will have exploration skills, which you can use in the dungeon outside of combat. This guy doesn't have one. But like right here, you can see this is the easy lockpick skill. So different ones will have different support skills or no support skill at all. and over here it shows you what their masteries are going to be. Now there you'll see based on your class there are certain masteries that you cannot put any points into when you level up. You can't learn them. Anything that is fully colored here and not kind of grayed out means you can put points into that stuff if you wish. So this is mainly going to be a one-handed fighter who can use shields, heavy armor, light armor if you want, and then courage is going to be a stat that gives you more defense. Stoicism gives you elemental resistance. So if we like what we see here, we say, okay, we'll get a Murmillo. You hit proceed. Then you can choose a portrait, change their name, change their voice, and then you can do the whole Project Zomboid thing where you pick a negative trait and then a positive one to balance it out. I'm not going to pick anything here, and I'm just going to go back and not actually make this person, but that's just to show you how the higher gladiator works, and I'll try to get through this stuff quickly so I can actually show you the game. Roster and party, this is all of my gladiators right here, and you can make different 4-person parties and then save them. This is also where you go to level up. Right here you can choose different active skills, spells, and then passive skills. Here is where you level up your masteries. So what I mentioned, like one-handed, two-handed, each of these is going to take some XP to unlock. Also, these things over here also take XP to unlock, sometimes gold as well. And then here is where you change the position in the party. And you can also get something called a Spiritus that gives that character a large amount of XP. When you want to level them up, as in their player level, you go up here. And if you want to change their attributes, that's really expensive, and you can do that here. All right, and then you have your party equipment. This is where you equip your characters. There are different rarities for equipment. You have common with the gray background. You have fine with this light blue background. You have magic with dark blue, and then rare with yellow. I haven't found anything higher than rare yet, but there are higher rarities there. And as you can see, you'll have a helmet slot, bracers, weapons, shoes, ring, and a pendant. All right, so the Faber Ferrarius, again, real quick, this is where you craft items. It tells you down there at the bottom left what you will need to craft each particular item. It's important to note the type of weapon. There are simple weapons and there are martial weapons. Some characters cannot use martial weapons, so they have to use simple ones. Some can't use two-handed, some, that kind of thing, so you have to be careful. You also have your light armor and your unarmored, which is going to be these cloth things over here. If your character can't use light or heavy armor, you've got to use these types over here. And then, so you start with these two open. The Druid is something you unlock after, I think, the first quest, or the first dungeon. And this is where you spend these divine potion points that you get when you complete story dungeons. And you can basically unlock these divine potions, different things for your divine potions. These potions, each character starts with 3, and they will refill your spell points. Mages use the spell points for spells, and melee and ranged fighters use them for their special skills. So I have these giving me, every time I use a potion, I get more spell points recovered. I'm trying to get right here where I get an additional potion usage, which would be nice. Then eventually you unlock the Architectus, and this is where you can upgrade different things. You can get more gladiators, bigger inventory, more or a better chance to open higher level locked chests and more lockpicks. Lots of stuff here, lots of stuff. And then the last one I've recently unlocked is the Templum, which I showed you earlier. So here's my current party. I've got a Murmillo, a heavy fighter. He's level 6. I've got a Somnus, which is your general all-around fighter. He's also level 6. I've got a Flamen, which is an elemental mage, level 6. And I've got a Westalis, which is a healer, and she is also level 6. So when you go to your dungeon, it starts off with just this main quest right here, and once you beat it, it unlocks this one, which unlocks these two, and as you can see, this is the last one I completed. I just completed this earlier today, and it was fairly difficult. Here's the important thing. You're going to have to do a lot of grinding. All right, like I haven't just played 5 times here. As you see, it's day 19. That's how many times I've gone into dungeons. So I've had to go into these earlier dungeons and grind them a lot, and I'm still grinding at this point. I know I just beat this one, but before I go to any of these, I need to grind some more because the one I just beat is dungeon level 8, as you see down there in the bottom left. It also shows you the objective of that particular dungeon. These blue ones are side quests, and the green ones are story quests. So I'm probably going to go back to this one right here to grind this just to show you how things work. So when you click on a dungeon, you get a chance to buy resources. So you have food rations. This recovers your party's stamina. Torches help you to see, but more importantly, torches will scare a certain type of enemy, which is the beast type. And when a beast gets scared, it will not attack on its first 2 turns. It will defend, but it won't attack. These are lockpicks, self-explanatory. The Eyes of Argo will allow you to see false walls and other hidden things. And wine will increase your party's morale for your next encounter, your next fight. Morale will give you all kinds of bonuses, and it's raised not just with wine, but also by hitting successfully many times in a row without missing. You can also hire mercenaries. These don't join your party as an additional character. They give you buffs, but you have to pay them. So like this guy right here is a collector, and he gives you a better chance to obtain equipment when you open a chest, or better equipment, I should say. But as you can see, when you're done, you have to give him 25% of the gold that you got in that dungeon. It's kind of rough, but it is useful. All right, there's all kinds of different ones here. Also, when your gladiators are level 1, you don't have any gladiator fee. You don't have to pay to go into a dungeon. But since my characters are level 6, I have to pay a lot of gold to take them into the dungeon, so that's something to remember right there. That can be pretty expensive. So I'm going to want some rations, and I'm definitely going to want some torches. I think that should be fine. And then we're going to jump on into the dungeon and show you what it's really all about here. Oh, real quick, just look at the objective here. You have to explore the cemetery and search for information on the ritual used by the great necromancer. Kill the enemy guarding this information. So this objective is to kill a certain enemy. Now this is very important, what I tell you next. If you want to leave the dungeon before the objective is completed, you will have to forfeit 75% of the XP your party gained and 75% of the gold. It's brutal, but it's better than dying. It's better than having a total party kill. So when you go into a dungeon, you really want to complete the objective. You really do. Because again, you take a huge hit to what you might have gained if you flee the dungeon. All right. Also, if you press in the middle mouse button, you get this quick action menu. You can search. This takes 5% of your stamina, but gives you a chance to find items and gold. This is how you eat a ration, light a torch, use the eye, drink wine, and you can also throw stones to check for traps, but be aware, when you throw a stone, it makes a noise and it might make enemies show up. Speaking of enemies, this is your alert meter right here. It starts off green. Every time you move, it's going to get closer and closer to red. Once it turns red, there will be a random encounter, and you will fight. All right. Now, there are fixed encounters as well. I'm going to show you the map real quick. When you first go into dungeon, the map is not revealed. But I've been all through this map pretty much, so I have most of it revealed. Anywhere you see a red skull, that is a fixed encounter. That's a fight that's always going to be there. That does not include your alert meter fights. And you've got a legend over here. You can see all these other things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to light a torch. All right. So that's going to show up right here. And in this particular dungeon, there's a note waiting for you. And if you click on it, it says left is the path of strength and right is the way of cunning. So in other words, this dungeon is kind of divided in half. Over here, there's a bunch of traps and puzzles. Over here, there's a bunch of fighting. I'm going to show you the fighting. All right, so this is a little warp right here. It's going to take us to the left side of the dungeon. So we've got our mini-map up here, and we're going to start walking. Here's a box. We click on it. We've got a common frombola, which is a sling. All right. Over here, as you can see on the minimap, we got more chests. We want to check these out because, again, you can break these things down at the end of the quest into component parts that you can use to craft or upgrade other things. There's a Gladius Hispaniensis, and there's an Ensis Falcatus. We don't need any of those things, and they're common rarity, so we're not going to be messing with them anyway. Sometimes it'll tell you something about a mechanic. If you see cracks in the walls, if you charge the wall, you can get through it. Charges are also important, by the way. You press R to charge when you go into a fixed encounter. If you charge, you get the first turn, but it takes up some of your stamina. Also, if your party runs completely out of stamina, each character will get 3 random debuffs at the start of every fight. You don't want that. Okay, so let's go over here to this fight. So I've already opened this door. Sometimes you have to find mechanisms. Now you can see we might get a random encounter on this next step. Hopefully we don't, because if we do this fixed battle right here, it will reset the alert meter, which is great. All right, we're good. So we're going to charge by pressing R so to guarantee we get the first turn. Also, we have a torch lit, so if there are any beasts in this particular group, they will be scared for 2 turns. There are no beasts. Okay, so what we have is a Faunus and a Strix. Now, when you see this blue mist rising off of them, that means they're a champion. So they're going to be extra difficult. Now, for these guys, another thing that's important to know is that when you kill a Strix, it has acidic blood, and the whole party will get a debuff called Corrosion. So I'm going to want to kill these Faunus guys first. So whenever it's time to make a turn, you have your skills up here. You got your action points right here. When you mouse over a skill, it shows how many action points it will take. It also, in the bottom left, tells you what kind of attack it is and how much damage it might do. Everything is a die roll. Over here is our regular attack. Right, you see the chance to hit is 90%. If I choose someone else, the chance might change. Like that's 72%. That's 90 again. Another important thing, ranged characters, if you have them in the front line, will get a penalty to their 2-hit chance. All right, so let's go ahead and just chop this dude. This guy right here, our all-around fighter. He gets 1 attack. He has a 2-handed sword. And we did 24 damage. There's something I forgot to mention, by the way. It's hard to imagine because I've been saying so much, talking nonstop. I'm sorry about that. But there's really only one complaint I have with this game. Literally just one, and it's the soundtrack. The soundtrack is not bad, the music is not bad, but it doesn't fit the game at all. It really doesn't. It's like the Doom-style generic metal, but it's really upbeat. It just does not fit. So you may have been wondering, why is there no background music? It's because I turned it all the way down. I'll show you what the music sounds like in a minute, just so you can judge for yourself if you want to turn it down or not, but I leave it off. All right. So anyway, this turn is over for this guy. I mean, he has 2 action points. We could drink a divine potion, but there's no reason to, because as you see from this blue line, we have all our spell points. We could also change position or try to flee, but we're not going to do any of that. We're going to end the turn. You can also press spacebar to end the turn. And if you end the turn with 3 or more action points, as it shows you in the bottom left, the next turn you'll have an extra action point. All right, up here is the initiative order. You see this gold border? That means we're on this guy right now. So we all get to act before the enemies because we charged in. So this is my Murmillo. He's got an armor breaker skill, which I don't really need to use. He has 2 attacks with his longsword. And we just killed that dude. Now, keep in mind, I'm grinding a lower level, so your fights are not going to be this easy. I'm now going to choose this guy in the turn. Now we've got our Flamen. He's got a pretty cool fire spell, Fire Dart, and yes, some enemies are weak to certain types of spells and resistant to others. He also has this Hailstorm, which is just a brutal spell, and you really want to save this for the boss of this level because he's weak to ice. But if you use up all your spell points, you just drink a divine potion and you get some of them back. But you have to be careful because if you run out, you're kind of up a creek. There's usually, not always, there's usually on a level, there's a thing called a Charon Stella, and if you click on it, you will get all of your divine potions back. But you'll lose your winning streak, which I'll explain in a second. Let's just blast this dude. Alright, we did 30 fire damage there. And now we're on our healer. Now, she has no one to heal, so I gave her a sling. So we're just going to use that. Alright, now you see that yellow right there? That's because she does thunder damage. Because of her particular weapon, it's enchanted and has that. Alright, so now it's going to be the Strix's turn. And the Strix chose to defend. And this dude attacked, but he missed. Now the Strix cast a spell. And you see this downward pointing red arrow. That's a debuff. And over there on the bottom left, you see it says weak. That's going to mean that my attacks don't do as much damage. And it is actually his turn. And you see I only did 9 damage there. Oh, but we critted him. So he's been destroyed. Right here is your morale meter that I mentioned earlier. Because it's so high right now, you can see we get plus 5% to every saving throw. We get plus 10 attack and defense for every character. Plus 10% elemental resistance and 1 Dies Irae charge. Dies Irae, it took me forever to figure this out, is a party skill that does a ton of damage, but you have to unlock it in the Architectus. So anyway, we'll skip this turn. And we'll chop. And again, this is a champion, so it's going to take a while to kill him. We'll blast him. And this is my mage. I'm just having him use a bow because I don't want to use a spell every turn and lose all of his spell points. Alright, she missed my Murmillo, who's going to now use Armor Breaker. It's really not an impressive skill, by the way. It's supposed to do 130% weapon damage and then add 3d6 plus 6. It doesn't often do a lot, but I probably just rolled really low right there. This guy, his Power Slam usually does a lot of damage. Yeah, 43. Alright, so whenever you win a fight, you'll get the Victoria screen. Tells you how much XP you got and how much gold. And there's the winning streak I mentioned. The longer or the higher number you get on your winning streak, the more bonus XP and gold you'll get for the next fight. When you use the Charon Stella that I mentioned, it ends your winning streak. But it gives you all your divine potions back. Alright. Let's keep on moving here. Let's take a look at the map real quick. We got another chest over here. I wonder if this one's locked. It's not, but I want to show you the lockpicking thing. Gladius Pompeii. And in case you're wondering about my pronunciation, yes, I was in Latin club in high school. Okay? Forgive me. Alright, we have another fixed encounter over here. So we're going to charge into it. Alright, so these dogs are of the beast type, and we have a torch lit, so you see they have this red skull. That means they're scared. They're actually scared for 3 turns. It used to be 2, so maybe when we leveled up, that got higher. That's cool. So anyway, they're not going to attack for 3 turns, so we can just focus on the champion right now. I'm going to blast him with the fire dart. 35, not bad. Okay. And usually you miss a lot. We haven't been missing a lot, so we've been real lucky. Alright, so he defended. That one defended. And this guy chose to defend as well. You can see each champion will have a different set of buffs. This guy has extra ice damage and extra poison resistance. Alright, there we go. There's a miss from our healer. Do our 2 attacks. He's dead. Alright, so in that turn, and now we'll attack this dog. Ooh, not bad. And again, I have to stress, we are all level 6, and this is a difficulty level 5 dungeon, so we're over-leveled here. Alright, he just did an attack, did 6 damage, and made me bleed for 4 turns. And let's go ahead and destroy him. Alright. And there we go. Alright, so there's our Victoria screen again. Our winning streak is 2. We're up to 5% bonus XP and gold. This is the loot they drop. And this thing on the floor is a switch. It's normally white. When you step on it, it turns yellow and it opens up a door. And I've already done that in a previous playthrough of this dungeon. That's why it's currently already triggered. Alright, so let's go over here. Here's another fixed encounter. We're going to charge in. Alright, same kind of setup here, same situation. Blast him for 40 fire damage. Alright, they're going to go ahead and defend. That guy's going to attack. He actually did 10 damage there. Alright, that was a crit, that yellow number there. Let's just blast him with fire. Since they're defending, it makes them a little harder to hit, is what usually that means. Alright, he blocked that attack. And that one. Alright, he missed twice, thankfully. He did not miss, and this guy is bleeding for 4 turns. But it's alright, our morale is rising. There we go. Alright. Alright, there's some ambrosia, which I mentioned before. Our torch is about to burn out, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. Oh, that's right, I was going to show you the music here. I'm going to go over here to the settings. If I turn this up, and we go into this fight, you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not saying the music is bad, I'm just saying it does not fit. Check this out. Now, you might think that fits. For some reason, I would rather there be some kind of, like, classical music or some dark ambient, something that kind of fits. But, it's not bad, it's just, Alright, so again, we don't want to kill the Strix first, because then we'll have corrosion. So we're going to focus on these guys. Alright, that one's dead. Alright, missed. This one defended. Alright, then did the Infirmitas. So we're weak for 2 turns on this guy. So he did 9 damage there, not impressive. Let's just shoot him. There we go. We're still weak, but we'll attack anyway, so we only did 10 total damage with 2 attacks there. That was a crit, not bad. Let's use fire. There we go. Alright, we're up to 10% bonus XP and gold for the next fight. So yeah, again, feel free to have the music on if you want. For me, I don't know, it just doesn't fit. I can't think of a better way to explain it. Alright, I'm going to try and move through here a little more quickly. Alright, our torch just went out, so I'm going to light another one. And you see our stamina is down a little bit below half. If we eat a ration, it's going to go up a little bit. You can also hide, by the way, by pressing Control, but every time you take a step while hiding, it takes stamina. You use this to avoid sentinels, which we're actually about to run into. I should have just waited. These little eyeballs on the map. If these things see you, they alert enemies and you get a bunch of random encounters. So we're going to have to sneak through this whole area. And we'll do that here in just a second. Also, if we use the eye, it'll show us walls that are illusory that you can walk through. But there aren't any around right now, but I'll just have it active. Alright, so we're going into the room with the sentinel, so I'm going to make sure we sneak here, get some ambrosia along the way. And as you can see, this is eating up my stamina, which I don't like. But now we're in the clear, so I'm going to stop sneaking. And I'm going to eat a ration or 2. And I'll show you the search. This is going to take 5% of the stamina, which is not a good thing, but we'll try it anyway. Your search has been remarkably successful. You found 44 gold and 48 gold. Sometimes you'll find items too, so that was good. Alright, there's a locked chest. This is how your lockpicking thing works. The more difficult the lock, the faster this thing is going to oscillate side to side. And you just press C when it's in the green area. As you can see, no pun intended. And it's open. And we got a fine quality Dalmatica. Now again, I don't need any of this stuff for my characters because we have better equipment, but I will break it down afterwards. Alright, and I want to show you the boss and the Charon Stella, which is right there. So let's work through this next fight. We might actually get a random fight here because this is pretty red. No, we didn't. Alright, let's charge in. And yes, you will have different enemies in the different dungeons, and they will get harder and harder. So this is not representative of all the enemies. There's a bunch of different enemy types. Alright, we'll go with our usual stuff here. By the way, this is the Dies Irae party skill that I mentioned. Oh yeah, okay, we already took care of that guy. Oh, and sometimes this Flamen, the Elemental Mage, gets random buffs, and he has this, you can see there's a buff there, and it's Ice Weapon, so he does a little bit of ice damage for 3 turns, if we use his weapon and not a spell. And he missed. Alright, so again, I know this looks really easy, and again, it's because I'm grinding, I'm a little over-leveled, but I didn't want to go into a more difficult dungeon and then die in this video, because that would be embarrassing. Alright, let's just hit him with fire. Alright, so you can see that the Flamen's spell points are getting kind of low, so I can drink a Divine Potion here, and he'll get 37 health back, but also, and more importantly, 103 spell points. But it'll take 2 action points, so he can't do anything else on this turn. Alright, she is dead. Alright, cool. Okay, and here's a switch on the wall, by the way, that opened this door. Alright, so here's the Charon Stella. This is not in every dungeon. So if you click on it, your party recovers all their health and their spell points. You get your Divine Potions partially refilled. We only used 1, so we have them all now. And again, it ended our winning streak. But trust me, it's worth it. Especially when you're about to fight a boss, and when you find the Stella, it usually means you're about to fight a boss. And we are. That's with this special colored encounter here. We're going to charge in. Now, the first time I ran into this guy, I didn't know that he is very resistant to fire. I should have known, because he has, like, basically lava armor. but he's really weak to ice, and I didn't have any ice spells. Luckily, a friend of mine who watches the stream was watching me stream this recently, and he was like, you know what, you got to get an ice spell, and it will destroy this guy. And he was right. This guy is really tough, and he does a lot of damage. But if you use an ice spell, which we're about to, watch this. We just got him down to half health in one attack. It's ridiculous. So it really helps to learn what the weaknesses are of a monster. By the way, in the Architectus, you can spend gold to upgrade your monster knowledge so that when you mouse over someone, you'll see more info about their strengths and weaknesses. We don't even know anything about this guy technically. As you can see under his name, there's nothing there. All right, so we'll just do some other attacks here. And look how pathetic these attacks are. That one was pretty good. That was a skill. But all right, now he's going to attack. Watch the damage he does. 36, or actually 46, and then 34. And he has 2 attacks every turn. So this guy is ridiculous. But luckily, we've got the Hailstorm. And he is dead. Alright, so it says you've completed your mission, you can leave the dungeon. So remember what I said. If you leave the dungeon without completing your objective, you will forfeit 75% of your experience and your gold. So to exit, you press escape and you come right here to go back to your Ludus. And it'll warn you, make sure you completed your objective. We did. Alright, and then we see all the XP we got. And these are your achievements. And as you accomplish these things, your starting gladiators, when you hire them, will start with more XP, which is awesome. If somebody were to die, even if you fled the dungeon or if you beat your objective, it doesn't matter. If they died, you'll see a thumbs up here and a thumbs down here. If you have enough ambrosia, you do the thumbs up and they'll be resurrected and they won't lose anything except for when they die, they lose half their XP automatically. But if you don't have any ambrosia, you can do the thumbs down and you'll resurrect them, but they will get 0 XP. Not good. So when you're done, you'll go to your roster and party and you'll spend your XP if you want to. And then you'll go to the Faber Ferrarius and you can shift right click to break things down into their constituent parts like this. And that's the general gameplay loop. And again, there's a lot of grinding, a lot of going back and fighting and you know, going into certain dungeons often. But I really like this game and I really like the grind. I really do. And I've just been nothing but impressed with this game. I really, really like it. Again, my only issue is the soundtrack. I don't feel that it fits the atmosphere, but it's, again, that's totally subjective. So anyway, this is where we're going to end this video. Thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Please hit like and subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you all next time.